Writing a book is a difficult journey, and staying true to what you're writing is one of the hardest things that you can possibly do, because you're hearing so much noise about what everyone around you wants, or your audience, your publisher, your agent, your editor. But you know what's best for the story, and you need to stick up for that. Yes, there might be a time where some compromises must be made, but in the end, you need to end up with a story that you're happy with. And if that means that certain things aren't changed, whether it's because it's important enough that it's going to show up in another book, or you just feel strongly that that is a theme that needs to stay, or a trope, or a point of view that is actually very important to the story, then maybe try not to sacrifice it. Maybe try talking it out and explaining exactly why it's important so that everyone understands. And I'm not saying that your audience necessarily needs to understand, because you can't make everyone happy, but your editor, your publisher, your agent, you should be able to have a real conversation about the book that you're writing. Because if you can't have a conversation about what is going to be published on your behalf, and like in your name, then there is something that is wrong. There's something that is missing from that dynamic that needs to be addressed before you can get to the point of publishing. Because if the author doesn't have a voice, then something is wrong. The author needs to be proud of their work. They aren't just workhorses to churn out books that they don't care about, because that ends up affecting the quality of what they are writing. And those readers are not going to be happy when the quality drops, because the author is just so done with the book, so done with the series, that they don't want to write anymore. They're just doing it because they are under contract to finish whatever they are writing. That is not healthy. That is not a good way to work. It's not professional, because everything needs to be talked about. If there is a problem, it needs to be worked out so that at least there is a compromise. At least they feel that they're being heard and they're being taken seriously about their own work. Because realistically, especially if they are in a traditional publishing, yes, they understand that they don't have the same amount of creative freedom as if they self-published, but reasonably, they could have self-published. And once you get into a contract, it might be difficult to get out of it, but they might not end up bringing another series to a publisher or sticking with an editor or a agent because they aren't heard, and they would rather go the self-publishing route once they get out of their contract, once they're able to, because they have that freedom to tell their story how they want. And sure, it might not be the one that they're writing currently, but if it's important enough to them and they aren't being listened to, that they feel they're being taken advantage of because they are producing work that is doing well or is interesting enough to readers that they're talking about it, they're having discussions, they are trying to tell a story that is true to what's in their vision, and to not be able to do that is so detrimental to a writer's mental health. Because in any capacity, and I'm talking about this from a creative writing aspect, but this goes around for like content writing as well. And because if you have a creative vision for a piece, whether it's a novel, an article, or whatever, and you can't get that out because people are creating roadblocks for you, or hoops you have to jump through to be able to publish your work, it's not going to work in the best interest of the writer. They're going to suffer mentally. They're going to suffer in quality. They aren't going to produce the best version of whatever they are writing. And that is so sad to see, because some people have such great imaginations that they aren't allowed to get out because people are stopping them, because they want what is popular. They want certain tropes, they want certain themes, they want a certain type of point of view. It's crazy. There's so many things that can affect a book that you don't realize until you're writing it and you're being critiqued on it. They are expected to sit back while they're being critiqued, take it, and everyone seems to think that it's their job to cater to the people who are reading their book, when in reality, sure, they can sit back, they can listen, like they can stay out of the reader spaces as they've been told to do, but that doesn't mean they have to change their vision because somebody else says so. Obviously, if you're in a contract, you might have to change it, but that doesn't mean that once you get out of the contract, you have to go back to doing that same thing. You make your own path. Most situations are temporary, and they may have to go with the flow for the time being, but that doesn't mean that they have to stay that way forever, especially when it comes to writing. There are so many worlds that you can create while writing, and they should be able to do that. They should be able to do it in their own way. And yes, you won't be able to please everybody, nor should you try to. You should not try to please everyone because it's not possible. There will always be people who don't like what you write. There are always people who don't like what you do. They don't like what you say. They don't like what you stand for. But you do the best that you can to stay true to yourself, and you will find people who like who you are, they like what you put out, and they will support you. But not every idea is right for a specific story. It's not right for a specific person. Being able to be in good discourse around writing is amazing, but it doesn't mean a writer should be bullied into putting out work that they are not confident, comfortable with. And that's why writers need to stand up for themselves. They need to say no when something isn't right. They need to understand that they have power because they are the ones writing the stories. They're the ones writing the books. And to say an author has no power whatsoever is an absolute lie. But that doesn't start until you step up and you say, no, this is what I think. This is why I did this. This is why this is important to my book. Once you do that, you will have opened up a world of possibilities for how you discuss your book, how you are seen, how strongly your views are taken by other people, especially the people who are part of your publishing process. I think that is a valuable lesson that more writers need to learn, especially if they feel that they are backed into corners in their writing. And this can even come from self-published authors who have people who say that they don't like what they're writing, people close to them, their editors, or whoever is helping them through the process of self-publishing. It's your book, especially in self-publishing. You have so much power to do what you want, to put out the story the way that you want to, and you need to take that power and for yourself. Don't give it to anyone else. Yes, your editor might have some valid points, but that doesn't mean that you have to go with every single thing that they say. Being a good writer means knowing how to talk about your book, how to advocate for yourself. And once you do that, like, there's so much more enjoyment in writing because you feel confident enough to stand behind what you've written. And you also feel confident enough to listen to what other people say, analyze your own writing, and give your honest opinion on why that would or would not work. So if you like this video, feel free to watch some of our others, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. All right, bye.